I want to jump on here because I really want to talk about something that I'm passionate about, and it might offend some people, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, I'm just here to speak my truth, so take it or leave it. But my thoughts are I love being high vibrational, being on high frequency, being, in this high energy and like maintaining, my energetic boundaries and everything in order to stay as high vibe as I possibly can, of course. But at the same time, there's a difference between, being really high vibe and, being like happy and intentional and everything like that, and then also just bypassing spiritually. So when we bypass spiritually, it looks like, maybe there's a trigger or trauma that arises and comes up, and we're like, nope, that's low vibe, like throw it to the, throw it down there, shove it down there and ignore it like it's not real. And we try to like brainwash ourselves or like mentally bypass it, physically bypass it, and spiritually bypass it, and just keep going into the high vibe department without addressing our traumas and triggers and past lives. So what this does is essentially, all it does is put a band-aid on the situation. Essentially, it doesn't solve the problem, it doesn't solve the root issue. It just wipes it to the side, for now. It's like a child, who's having, a hard day, and they're emotional, and you're just like, just stop crying, it's fine, don't worry, like let's just move on to the next activity, like forget about it. That's like kind of the old way in my mind. It's the old way of being. Instead of like, I mean, okay, fair enough. Sometimes if the kid injures themselves physically and you just want to distract them for a bit, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like, let's say they get bullied at school or something's happening. You want to investigate into what's going on. You want to ask them like, how they're feeling, not repress their emotions, not, shove that all down, but just really like just sit with them and show them that they're here, that you're there for them, show them that, you're a safe place to open up to, and investigate how they're feeling, get them to name their emotion, and just show them how a healthy way to deal with their emotions is. And it's the same thing in healing with us as adults. It's looking at our triggers and traumas and investigating into it. So if you just keep pushing it away and bypassing it, it's just going to keep arising over and over and over. And yeah, we might get slightly better at repressing it, but at the end of the day, it's going to cause us blocks in our success, in our business, in our relationships, in income and money randomly finding us, in friendships as well, and just success in life in general, like in your job, in your life, in every single aspect. It's going to keep coming back in different ways. So if you repress it in the terms of money, it might come back in a relationship, it might come back in your job. So it's just going to keep coming back until you learn that lesson, until you heal that trauma and trigger, because the universe literally just shows us a mirror over and over and over and goes, hey, here's another way of looking at it. Can you resolve this now so you can move on with your life? And you're like, love and light, shove down, shove down, shove down. And it's like, no, you need to look at it. That's why, like, when people say, why look at the past lives? Like, what's the point? Why don't we just move on, move forward, and like, get all those amazing codes and everything from the spiritual world? It's like, okay, but in order to progress spiritually, even like receive higher light codes, receive, more insights from the spiritual realms, you need to collapse and clear your old shit, because otherwise your system is very muddy and emotional and blocked, essentially. So you're not able to receive as much light, you're not able to receive as much inspiration and downloads, and you're also feeling heavy and like things are going to be blocked in your life. You're not going to be able to manifest as easily. You're not going to be able to experience as much freedom because your system's still trying to process old trauma. So essentially, this is why we do the work. This is why we show up. This is why we go into the Akashic Records, to address whatever's coming up in your life. So we don't just start meddling and picking around at things. We look at what's happening in your life now. So what is your issue, right? It might be a visibility problem, it might be self-confidence, and then we go and look at that wound, that trauma, that trigger, and figure it out so we can help you move forward. And there might be several layers to deal with, that's fine, but at the end of the day, we need to address that and then work on the mindset shift. And because the mindset keeps looping around in those old neural pathways, but we really need to break that neural pathway and start inserting a new reality, a new identity. This is why I teach Akashic Records with the inner work, and also identity work, because we're really recreating a new identity. Once we get rid of that old energy, we're recreating a new identity for yourself, because your mind is confused. There's a huge energetic shift and your mind's like, whoa, that's not my way of functioning and program. Like, that's not the way I'm programmed. So we really need to break up that patterning within the mindset. That's where the support is so essential, because it's not impossible to do on your own. I've done it, but it takes like laser focus, and it's very difficult to do it without kind of completely removing yourself from society in general. You have to become a very delusional in your thinking almost, because you're recreating that identity, and you're telling yourself, even though you see things in the reality, you're actually telling yourself that they're not there, because you need to like tell yourself and recreate your reality in your mind in order for it to happen in the 3D. So it's not the other way around. It's not you create, the 3D happens and then you recreate your mind. It's the opposite. So you have to recreate your mind, and then the 3D reality happens. So that's what we do in Light Leader and Elevate and Align. So this is why I'm so passionate about it. This is why it's so effective, and people quantum leap in the program consistently. Throughout month to month, they're changing, they're evolving, they don't recognize themselves afterwards. It's incredible. And this work is super potent and powerful. And I'm very, very devotional to it. So I hope that everyone has a beautiful day. And I just would love you guys to think of one way you can start to bring yourself into more of a high vibrational state, but at the same time, bring that awareness of your traumas and triggers and not run from them. All right. Have an amazing day, everyone.